Hey guys, welcome back to Tackle Tuesday. Today we'll be talking about the Texas rig. Now to start out, the easiest way to catch a fish, obviously when you're starting out, is a Texas rigged worm. Now the different parts to that are, you have a tungsten weight, bullet weight, either a round bend worm hook like this, or like we have rigged up right here, we have a EWG, which stands for extra wide gap hook right there. Basically all you're doing is rigging this worm up, making it weedless, and to where this hook sits like this with your weight up top right here, so it can slide. Now the best presentation for this is in open water, ledges, drop-offs, anything where you're using, say, a floating worm as well. You're using a floating worm and you're gonna pull that bait and that hook is gonna shoot forward like this. It's gonna shoot forward and then your worm is gonna tend to float up above here, and then when you pull that line through, it's going to come to that weight. So that's the best scenario for that, for having just a free floating weight in front. Now there's these things called pegs that come on these little round things right here, and then there's also these type of pegs that are kind of like toothpick pegs almost, but these are plastic. And the reason I wouldn't recommend using toothpicks is the wood in the toothpick can actually fray your line and make your line weaker. So if you happen to get one of those big fish, you know, your line strength is already at, 60-70% because of that toothpick, and you haven't even fought a fish yet. So the bobber stops are the best way to do it, and all you do is before you tie anything on, you slide that little peg onto your line, and then you put your weight on and then your worm. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to do it with the little plastic toothpick. So I got my pair of scissors, got my little plastic toothpick, and we have our weight on our line right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this toothpick and I'm going to run it right under the bottom of this weight, and I'm going to pull it out the top as far as I can until it can't slide anymore. And I'm just going to keep doing that until it gets really tight. Even I take my teeth and pull it through even more, so I get both ends of that right there. Let's see if that'll focus in. So you get the end right here with the little butt end and that end. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this end and we're going to cut it off kind of flush with the weight, and then we're going to take it again, pull it just a little bit with our teeth. There we go, or pliers. Recommend using pliers. Dentists don't really like bass fishermen when they use their teeth. And then we're going to take this and we're going to do the same thing at the top. Now you don't want to cut your line when you're doing this, so be careful when you do it. Basically all that does now is, instead of that weight sliding up and down, it is stuck. And what you can do is take your line, slide it all the way down. Now bobber stops allow, if you kind of get hung or something, that bobber stop will move up and down unless you put two of them. So you could stack two on top of each other and it won't move as much. If you use one, it may tend to slide down, and all you got to do is just slide it back on top of the thing. But these little toothpick hooks work great because they don't really slide too often. You can't, it takes a lot to slide that thing. And so now you have a pegged Texas rig. We'll put it right there. So now you got a pegged Texas rig, and what this is good for is going through grass, through structure, or through cover, not structure, but through cover when you're going through that brush or, you know, over stumps, and you don't want that hook and that worm getting hung on anything. This will shoot straight down through that brush or whatever kind of, you know, cover the bass are in without getting snagged up too many times. You can also put, this presentation works phenomenal with crawls, plastic crawls. You get that little smaller profile with those, you know, flapping pinchers going through a brush pile. You don't really want to use a long worm like this going through a brush pile, because that tail right there, that ribbon tail, is going to stick to some of those limbs, and then it's going to get all wrapped up, and there goes your presentation. So if you're fishing in clear water, clear open water, you want to have your weight not pegged. If you're fishing in dirty water, however, there's one thing I recommend adding, and we'll take this off, and I'll pull this out if I can. If not. If you're fishing in dirty, stained mud, water, or whatever, I recommend beads. There's different colors: black, blue, green, brown, yellow, whatever. I just have these red ones. Black is preferred because you want something that's going to match your weight and not really stand out to the fish. But all you do is you slide this bead on there. So we'll slide that bead after our weight, because I'm putting this on in a backwards order. But now, when you have that weight pegged, and it's pegged just far enough, you get that ticking noise, and that's going to help the fish find your lure. I mean, if you're, you know, I would use a lure like this in kind of muddy water, which I do anyways, or stained water. You know, it's big profile, but just to give it that extra little attachment where it's clicking around under there. And if you use it with a crawl presentation, with a crawfish, it sounds like the clicking of their pinchers. So it kind of makes a lifelike noise. But if you're using it in clear water, you know, they can kind of hone in on that bait, and once they see it, you know, they really inspect, you know, these lures, because they're sitting there so long that they'll realize that, hey, that sound's not coming from, you know, whatever I think it is, so I'm not going to eat it. But another tip, I guess, for your Texas rig would be, see how this hook is sticking out? I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Let's see here. See how that hook is sticking out up top right there? So what you want to do is you want to take your bait, pinch right in front of that hook, get it straight with that hook, pinch right in front of that hook, and just barely poke it through. And now you have a weedless bait. You can do this on all your soft plastics. This is the best weedless bait I use. It doesn't catch anything, and I throw it everywhere. As y'all have seen, you know, I've caught everything on these giant worms lately. But if you have any more questions, any concerns, anything you don't like about this video, let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button, and please subscribe so you can check out next week's channel, where we'll give you some more tips and tricks on how to use baits, what baits to use, hooks, whatever we can come up with. If you have a suggestion, please leave it down below, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.